Okay, I'm just setting up the live stream, so bear with me. Right. I think we're more or less there. So Billy says hello. Hello, Billy. I'm going to experiment with something as well. So this should be showing an overlay in YouTube. And it is. Hurrah! Okay. So as you can see, it's pretty dark in the airplane at the moment, so let's get some power on to begin with. It's a while since I've flown this airplane actually. Should we just check the controls are mapped correctly? So I have paddles, I have control of... Yep, everything seems to be in order. Okay, so beacon light on first, and the mixture to rich, and give it a little bit of throttle. Parking brake is on, and start the engine. Should we just check the volume levels? Yeah, this plane's quite noisy, isn't it? So I'm going to turn it down a bit for you. I'm also going to turn my voice up so I don't have to speak so loudly. Advanced audio, turn this up to 10. Close. Okay, now I don't have to speak loudly, which is good. So engine is busy running. We'll take it up to a little bit higher than 1000 RPM. Although this is the Coronado 182, so we don't have to worry too much. We'll put the nav light on. It's a while since I've flown it actually. Put the taxi light on. Let's go and turn on the transponder. We'll calibrate the altimeter. Where's the avionics switch in this? Can anybody remember? It's on the door. Yes, it is. Just waiting for the GPS to boot up. I loaded a flight plan in, from Flight Simulator itself, so it should already have all of the waypoints in it. So it's just doing its boot up sequence on the GPS. There it goes. Let it capture the satellites. Have we got some interior lights in this? I can never remember. They don't really do a lot, do they? So we've got these ones as well, which are better than nothing, I guess. There we go, we have GPS, hurrah! So, let's have a look. First leg, 77 degrees over from, we're at Renner Field. We're going to go over to Schultz and head east across Kansas at sunrise. The sun's probably up by now, isn't it? Oh, it's just come up, yep. So let's check the wind as well. So wind is from the northwest, 12 knots. So we'll be taxiing down to runway 30 to take off. Perfect. probably won't need flaps actually. So we put the head tracking on, and there we go. And we're off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like a nice day. The long shadows from the sun. It's pretty cool, isn't it? We probably don't need the whole runway here, but I'm going to taxi down to the end anyway. So anybody is free to join, but if you continually get in front of me, I will turn multiplayer off, because I've had several people absolutely destroy live streams recently, and it's getting to the point where I will just do live streams with multiplayer off if it continues to happen, because it ruins it for other people. Because a lot of people watch these to see the places along the way, and if someone's trying to have their 5 minutes of fame by sitting right in front of my airplane, it kind of ruins it for everybody. Okay, so full throttle. And rotate gently. It's quite a big airfield, isn't it? So we want 70 degrees, don't we? Just turning. Sunrise across the prairies. It's lovely and clear. And we've turned too far, so we'll just turn back. Let's get the airplane trimmed down. So if we look to cruise along at about 5,000 feet, that should work, shouldn't it? So let's go and see if it can hold 1,000 feet a minute. Look at the airspeed. I doubt if it can, but we're going to get there pretty quickly anyway. Okay, let's put this on heading hold mode. And we should have turned the heading bug really before we did that. So let's put this on, whoops, about 80 degrees. Well, actually 90 would be better. Get us back onto the GPS track. looks amazing, doesn't it? The scenery is fantastic. Even though it's as flat as a pancake out here, it has its own kind of charm, really. Okay, let's increase the range on the GPS. While we're flying along, let's just slow that propeller down a bit. Whoops. Just trying to familiarise myself with where everything is. We can go for a bit more throttle, couldn't we? So RPM's in the middle-ish. Did we do all the lights properly? Didn't put the pitot heat on yet. Do that. Taxi light can come off. Okay, let's have a look. I'll just get rid of this off the screen. Let's have a look at the map. So we're just coming in towards the GPS track, so if we switch to nav mode now, it should just go straight to it. We can pull this in to 70 degrees, was it? Let's have a look. 77 to make it so it makes some sense to us. Do we have any radio beacons we can play with along the way? Only the one we're going from, really. How much range does that have? 130 miles, actually, that's quite good. So that's 115.10. So on... this will be nav 1 up here, won't it? So if we push this, 115.10, switch over. And if we went to CDI mode, then the HSI is now reflecting the nav radio. So we're flying the distance from it, and we get the DME from the radio. Very cool. So first airfield is 30 miles away from where we took off from, and you can see we're tracking the 77 degree radial from. This is interesting though, isn't it? Because you would imagine we should be following that line, which would be 73 degrees. So this will be interesting. If we move this to 73 on the course, let's see what happens. Will the aeroplane track left? Oh, of course I switched, didn't I? So it's gone to roll hold mode. That's why it's doing it. That makes sense. Because I switched to CDI mode, it will reset to roll hold automatically. Now it's tracking over to get that radial. Just gives us something to do along the way, doesn't it? Okay, so it's just turning back onto the radial. So that should make a bit more sense. Yeah, you can see it, look, it's doing it here now. Or thereabouts. Obviously radio navigation isn't an exact science. Okay, let's have a read of the live stream comments. No landing gear. This is the Cessna 182RG, which has retractable gear. You can see it there, look, folded up underneath, which makes it a bit quicker in a straight line. Plus it's got a bigger engine than the 172. So where can you get this plane from? This is the Coronado 182RG Mark II, which is available in the marketplace. I haven't raised the cowl flaps yet, have I? I've just closed the cowl flaps on the engine now. I could swear I got rid of the co-pilot on the weights earlier. Let's go and have a look. Do I have to actually switch him off in the tablet? Co-pilot show hide off. That's better. You can have the GTN 750 in this. I haven't bothered. I've got the GNS. It's absolutely fine for what we're doing. GNS does have a, if we put the nav page back to the first page, is it this one? There we go. And increase the range. You can see the next waypoint coming, and you get the estimated time en route for the next waypoint. So 5 minutes away, and a countdown of the distance. It gives you lots of nice numbers around the edge. So Tom's asking what controllers I'm using. I've got the Airbus stick and quadrant, the Thrustmaster one. I tend to use it for everything. I have been looking at flying some DCS stuff, but that will almost certainly mean getting a decent stick and throttle, but that's going to cost a couple of £100, which is a lot of money, so that's probably about $300 I'll have to go and spend to get a decent one. And I'm reluctant to do so, because yeah, you really can't fly fighters in DCS without a proper HOTAS setup, and then you've got to build up the muscle memory as well of remembering what's where. Okay, let's turn the head tracking back on. I love the little touches in this aeroplane. Things like the mirror, which shows you obviously behind you, and also it's really to show you the undercarriage position, so you can check easily if your own undercarriage is down. But then you also got these aerials waggling around. It's very clever. I don't know. Yeah, we don't get a mirror that side, do we? No, it's only on that side. That's obviously the pitot tube there. It reads the air pressure. Okay, 7 miles to run. So this airfield we are approaching, which I've never been to any of these airfields, by the way. So let's remove this measurement. Is Schultz KCBC. Should we turn on Navigraph as well? Navigraph charts, and we'll unload the last flight plan I had, do a new flight, and we'll come into here, go to flight plan, copy flight plan description to the keyboard, or to the keypad, I mean, sorry, the clipboard, and get rid of that, and then that should give us, with a bit of luck, our flight plan in the VFR mode of Navigraph, which is almost as good as LittleNavMap. So the question becomes, can we get an airfield chart for this airfield? We could play games with getting the wind from ATIS, couldn't we? We can see the airfield down here. 118, was it 118175? Let's see if it's accurate. So if we go and tune the comm radio, we have to do it on this one, don't we? So let's turn the head tracking off again. 118. So 284 degrees for the wind, but the runway's north-south. So we're just going to have a short crosswind. It's only 7 knots. So let's go and detune that again, so we don't have to listen to it. And we'll come off the autopilot and go and do a touch and go. So that's interesting. I was complaining about the throttle being less than 50%. But then you can drop the undercarriage quite fast in any of these sort of aeroplanes. So the runway was just down to our left. So this place we're flying over the top of, if we have a look on LittleNavMap, is Schultz, or Colby, sorry. Helps if you look where you're going, doesn't it? Just for those that do want to fly along, if they really want to, I'm going to put myself on the West USA server and come back in and resume. There's the runway. We're a little bit high, so we'll just descend a little bit on the way in. Let's put the landing lights on, if we can click on it. There's a weird graphical anomaly going on the edge of the runway there, isn't there? Or is that just the long shadows? It's very odd. You can see that crosswind in effect there, can't you? Okay. We are travelling east, aren't we? So we need to turn right, which is being indicated by the GPS actually. So we put this back on GPS mode. Yeah, it's just switched over to the next leg automatically. So climbing back out towards 5,000 feet. Autopilot on. Climb at 500 feet until we get to our target altitude. Although it hasn't armed it, has it? And we go heading bug mode as we come in towards the track. We could also, if we went nav mode, it will turn right. Well, it might not until it captures it. Depends how clever it is. It's usually within a couple of dots, isn't it, on this system? So it will have heading and nav until it gets close enough. Let's just click altitude again now. It hasn't armed, presumably because we're too close to 5,000 anyway, but we'll see what happens. The arm light didn't come on. Normally you have to be more than 1,000 feet away from the target for it to do it. But let's see, is it going to wind out? It is, look. So even though the Coronados are kind of famous that the avionics don't quite work as you'd imagine, but anyway, I'm not going to worry too much. Okay, let's have a look at the needles. We're pushing the engine a little bit. Let's pull it back. RPM is good. We can probably go a bit faster on the RPM, to be honest. Okay, so we're leaving behind Colby. Very neat and tidy, isn't it? And we're going to Hoxie Sheridan next, the town of Hoxie. So similar deal, we'll be coming in runway 35. So what we could do is go to heading mode on purpose, get rid of nav mode. And let's give ourselves enough angle to get an approach when we get that. Probably done a bit too much there. So all I'm doing here is giving us a line across to then turn in. So looking at that, will be, yeah, that's probably perfect, isn't it? So a couple of miles to turn in and approach. And the wind is pushing us slight south vector, but not much. Got a bit of a tailwind. Good. So much farmland out here, isn't there? Loads of those rotary irrigation systems. They're everywhere, aren't they? So how do I get other players? What you do is before you come into the simulator, in the flight conditions menu, so you remember in the world map screen, there's a menu at the top right called flight conditions, and that's where you can set the weather and the time and things like that. You need to put the multiplayer setting in that screen, which is about here, on all players. And then the only condition is when you are in the settings screen, and you can do this while you're flying, click on your name and you can choose the server you're using. Yeah, so sometimes it will say automatic, I think, when you first install Flight Sim, but you can actually specify. As long as you are on the same server as each other, after a minute or two you should be able to see each other. It's not immediate. So So at the moment I haven't got labels on, but I've got that on a shortcut that I can go and press it. So if I go in here and press names, and now we can suddenly see there's some people around me. Like this guy here that was joining us a few minutes ago. But I actually normally fly with the names off because it looks more realistic. Okay. I think usually it can support about 60 or 70 aeroplanes in the same vicinity as each other. But you also get settings in the graphics settings of the sim about if you want to, or try traffic. In the traffic settings you can set whether it uses generic models, or if you've got loads of aeroplanes in your community folder, for example, it can use the accurate aeroplanes for the multiplayer, if you've got them. But it takes a massive hit on frame rate if you do that. The only penalty is if you don't do that, then everybody becomes a Mooney, basically. In GA aircraft, anyway. Anybody in a jet becomes an A320, I think. Something like that. Okay, so we've got 14 miles to run. 5 minutes until the next airfield. We're chugging along just inside the maximum speed of the Cessna. So when the CDI mode's on GPS, this relates, the Omni bearing selector doesn't do anything anymore, basically. It's kind of inoperative. So you basically just line it up on your course and it tells you, obviously, we're to the right of the GPS track, which we absolutely are. Flying straight into the sun. Just having a nose around. I never really look over the edge of here with the sim. It's amazing the amount of detail they put into it, isn't it? Even the screws holding the fascia down. They've got all the screw heads in them. It's crazy, really. I mean, if you get really close to these screws, every little detail, even bits of rust spots on the metalwork, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm not sure those trees should be there. That might mess with the irrigation system quite seriously. The AI isn't always that accurate, is it? So, 8 miles to run. We can see the next airfield coming up. So, Hoxie Sheridan, we're going to fly right over the town of Hoxie on our approach. Should be able to see it by now. There's the town. So the airfield's going to be over here somewhere, isn't it? So should we come off autopilot and just fly in manually? Descend on the way in, shall we? So we're going to enter the circuit on the base leg and come straight in. I think if we do everything correctly, we ought to be opening the cowl flaps when we come in for landing and for the climb out. Well, we're not landing, are we? We're not doing a full stop, but so RIZW Animation said, "Am I a pilot in real life?" No, I'm not. If you look on the about page of my channel, it says in capital letters at the top, "Not a real pilot." No, I'm just an enthusiast like everybody else, just sharing my escapades and things I learn along the way and flying the different airplanes. But sometimes I try to do things a bit more correctly when I get time to concentrate on it. Okay, so we can see the runway there. We have to fly right over the town to get to it. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Coming in quite steep, but it's fine. Avoids the houses, doesn't it? Whoa, turbulence. Okay, we're turning east again. Let's have a look out the window at the Piper. Okay, so let's go and get the autopilot back on. So we'll go roll hold mode. We want to be going 90 degrees, not... That's interesting. Has this drifted? Yeah, it simulates drift then on the compass. I'm just looking at the HSI. Sorry, not compass. Everyone will have a go at me for that. Calling this the compass, it's a bad habit. But it's not agreeing with the GPS at all, look. And that should be replicating the magnetic compass around the edge of the GPS. That's interesting. So let's put this on nav mode and heading mode. So we'll turn towards the track until it acquires it. The actual track direction is 83 degrees, so let's go and put that fairly close to it. It's just coming up to 5,000. It should wind out the vertical speed, and it's doing so. Good. And we're a bit high on the power, but not too bad. RPM's in the middle. So you should see this switch over to nav instead of having heading and then nav as soon as we get close to the line. So if you keep an eye on it, you'll see the aeroplane bank left. It might be very gentle when it does it though. See what this message is about. So keep an eye on it. There it goes. It's done it. Yeah, it's imperceptibly going to bank left to hold the track. If you keep an eye on this very carefully, you'll see that white marker move between the needles at the top. It's just imperceptibly wiggling, shifting the aeroplane. We don't actually need... Commercial traffic would leave their landing lights on all the time. We don't need to because we're not commercial traffic. So, but below 10,000 feet, I should say. Having said that, although we're saying 5,000 feet altitude, if you look here, the ground level is around about 3,000 feet along here. So next airport that we're heading towards is Hill City Municipal. So there's Hill City. Oh, Average Joe's Bar and Grill. We'll do some non-paid adverts, shall we? Jalapenos Grill, Sailbarn Cafe, Brady's Smokehouse and the headquarters. Sorry, I'm just going to go back and read the live stream now. Now we have a few minutes. Yeah, so I've already said not a pilot. I live in England. Lee Rose saying, interesting that all the runways are in the same direction. It is weird, isn't it? So as you go across the US, there's a few that are different, but if you look at them, they're all north-south. Or very many of them are. I'm guessing because the winds must... I don't know. It is very weird though, but it makes it very easy for us to just divert south and turn in each time. So Hill City Municipal is next. Let's have a look at this on Navigraph. We've kind of got carried away, haven't we? So let's turn that off. Oh, what am I doing? I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back to where the airplane is, please. There we are. Approaching Hill City Municipal. I guess we can click on this and see the airport chart. Just a very long, thin runway. Agricultural aircraft operating vicinity, airport daylight hours. So it's crop sprayers, I imagine. Prairie winds, yeah. That's half the reason I'm doing the flight actually, because I've never spent much time around this part of the world. It's got its own kind of beauty, hasn't it? It's flat as a billiard table, but it's interesting. All of the irrigation systems. You can see one there with the you can actually see the shadow. They have several engines, don't they, along the run that goes back and forth. Or several wheels, I should say, usually an engine on the end that drags the whole thing along. It's very clever. Tiny little rural farming communities along the way. So that one we were just passing off the starboard wing was not on the map. Studley. Or no, it may have been Moorland actually. I think it was Moorland. So then Penoki is next, so that's coming up here, I guess. And then Hill City is just ahead of us. So we need to be thinking about arranging our approach. I think the incredible thing about Flight Simulator is it's to this level of detail over the entire planet. It just blows me away every time. Okay, so we can see the town coming up ahead of us. So if we remind ourselves, that's Hill City. So the airfield is just past the town on that edge. So let's come off the autopilot. And start making preparations. Just start gently descending. I'm just reading the live stream comment. Philippe's just saying, would I say that eye tracking has changed it? I'm only using head tracking. I've turned the eye tracking off because I found eye tracking very, what's the word? Disruptive. It was difficult. So you almost train yourself, especially with streaming. I've kind of trained myself now to point my head the direction I want the camera to be pointing for you, if that makes sense. Okay, let's get the landing lights back on. Yeah, it makes it a lot. Flying with head tracking with the little GAA planes, especially with restricted visibility around pillars and things, head tracking makes a world of difference. Having said that, operating switches and avionics, I tend to switch it off because it tends to wander a little bit, and it's just enough that you don't realise how accurate you're being with the mouse. I just realised I had the lock on, stopping me getting below a certain number of revs, which is why I was having trouble slowing down earlier. I mean, you shouldn't run it idle for too long anyway. Let's have a little look at the town as we fly in. Okay. It's quite a big airfield, isn't it? There's a bit of a misplaced building here though. Look, it's right in the middle of the taxiway. Well done, AI. Yeah, although you can come in slower than 60 knots in the Cessna, it really doesn't like it. It starts to hang on the wing. Hey, back onto our track. So the further east we go, the lower the ground level is becoming slowly. That's interesting. The last leg, it almost went on top of the track and didn't react. This time, it has turned onto an intercept angle. So I guess it saw the beam, or not the beam, it saw the track in its head a little bit earlier, enough that it warranted getting onto the track rather than just waiting. It's very strange. Okay, let's have a look at the needles. Yeah, we're running full throttle. Let's get the manifold pressure back under control. The Coronado aircraft, the engine modelling isn't too strict, so you can run around on full throttle and it won't blow up. No pylons. Yeah, I haven't seen any pylons. That's a good one. Maybe I'm in the wrong place to see them. I bet if we put the We Love VFR add-on, there's probably power lines along the... Oh, sorry, it's a power lines add-on, isn't there? I bet it's got it along the major routes. Okay, there's a lake coming. Should you have a look on the map, see what the lake's called? Okay, so I guess it's Webster Lake. South Fork Solomon. South Fork, okay, it's South Fork Solomon then, according to this. We're approaching Stockton Rooks Regional. Stockton Rooks County Regional. I wonder if... This is the Google terrain map. I wonder if Topo Maps might have something better. Or just Google Maps itself. No, it doesn't name it. It's bizarre sometimes, isn't it? Sometimes Topo Maps is actually better. Or Street Map. OpenStreetMap might have it. Webster Reservoir, there you go. It's actually got the name of it. So heading towards Rooks County Regional. There's the reservoir. Need to wash the undercarriage. It's tempting fate, isn't it, dipping the wheels into the water? I mean, we could, but it's too tempting. Miles and miles and miles of farmland in every direction. And irrigation systems. Gives you an idea how big some of these fields are when you see the tracks from them being ploughed or seeded or whatever. They're huge fields. Okay, so as you can see, the ground level is now at 2,000 feet. So we're going to start flying along at 4,000 feet instead. Whoa, what happened there? I just pulled the throttle back too much then to get the speed under control as we descend. So we're dropping down to 4,000 feet, so we haven't got such a large descent for the next airfield. So there's the reservoir. I just realised I'm flying along with the oh no, I did close the cow flaps. It's ridiculous how good the simulator looks, isn't it? Okay, just coming down to 4,000, there we go. And it's winding out the vertical speed. So increase the throttle again. So how far do we have to go? 6 miles left. So let's go heading mode and move our heading bug off to a few degrees off track and go heading mode to give ourselves an approach. So let's have a look at the map and see where the airfield is. There is no town here then. So south of Stockton. But it's probably 5-6 miles away though, isn't it? Should put this back on Google Terrain. This gives the advertising for anybody local. So we want a few more degrees, don't we? So I'm presuming that that's the airfield we can see over there. So let's go manual. Or is this it? I think, no, this is it, isn't it? Okay. I think that's just barns on a farm. You can see the track here of the... There's no beacon, is there? There's nothing flashing. Okay. Get out. Open the cow flaps. Get the speed under control so we can get the flaps down, which we've just done. And there are trees in the way, which is something of a famous flight sim phenomena. But it's a long runway, so we don't have to turn in, or we don't have to descend for the apron directly. We could, yeah, look, the landing markers are a good way down the runway. So at the moment we're just gliding in. Engine's completely on idle, which is wrong, I know. Let's just open the revs up a bit more. There's our shadow. Whoa, I should look where I'm going really, shouldn't I? Look at that torque pulling us across the runway. That's amazing. I had to go full right rudder then. That's what you get for opening the throttle suddenly. Interestingly, why is there a beacon over there then? What am I missing? Is that a mistake in the scenery? Or is there a dirt strip here that I can't see? There's a pylon. There's a string of pylons across there that'll satisfy Lee, maybe. What am I missing here? Why is there a beacon light? And there's a runway right the way over there. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Let's get back onto our track. So 3,000 feet. Should we drop to 3? We'll do this at 3,000. It's fine, isn't it? Autopilot on. Nav mode on. So the close the cowl flaps and set for cruise. So we're good on the manifold pressure, we're good on the RPM. It's all looking great. Got tons of fuel. We took off with full fuel from the departure airfield. Okay, let's have a little look at the comments. Am I flying solo? Apparently so. Is this a payware aircraft? Yes, it is. It's the Coronado 182RG. It's about $20, I think. It's in the marketplace. So cheers everybody for chipping in and answering questions. It's really helpful. Which Cessna? Yeah, it's the 182RG, which stands for retractable gear. So 24 miles to run, 10 minutes to go until we get to the next airfield. So I'm going to go and make a quick coffee. So I'll leave the camera in an appropriate position. I'll be back in a minute. Right, I'm back. So 16 miles to go. I apologise, I'm eating. What was the word Thor used? Sustenance. Let's put the head tracking back on. So, we have rejoined the GPS track, going past Woodston and Alton, out towards Osborne Municipal is next, and the town of Osborne. So, wind, well, we can't tell from wind's aloft, let's have a look at the METAR. 290 degrees, 8 knots, it's just changed. So it's coming in this side. So we're looking at runway 20 actually. Or we could go for the grass strip. Go for runway 30. That might be more interesting actually. Yeah, should we do that? Just for a change, we'll go in runway 30 on the grass strip. So what would be a nice way to do it? I guess to have a look at Osborne, we'll go left and then do a right pattern into runway 30 maybe. We've got a little way to go yet though. We're still at 12 miles out. Well, we can tell, can't we? 13 miles out. 12.9. So I've been flying along so far because we were at altitude at 50% mixture. Because we were above 3,000 feet most of the time. But now we're at 3,000 feet, so I may rich it up a bit. Hasn't made a lot of difference, to be honest. Probably get a little bit more power. Is it increasing speed at all? Yeah, it is edging faster. Look, now we've richened the mixture up a little bit. We were running quite lean. It's worth pointing out that link now at the top left of the stream. If you were to donate to the channel, you will get your name pop up on the recorded stream. So it will scroll down and a wiggly cup of coffee will appear out of nowhere. So I've not actually tried it before. I know lots of other channels do all kinds of clever tricks like that. This is the first time I've ever experimented with it. Okay, so 9 miles to run. We're going to pass over some water, I think. Yeah, there's a little river that's going to pass underneath us. It's a castle. Henry John Neuschwanger, is that? Or is it a point of interest anyway? Maybe not a castle, because I didn't think they had castles in this part of the world, but it's just a map symbol for a building of interest, isn't it? Okay, now we're getting a bit closer. Let's have a look at this map again. So we'll fly slightly off to the left, fly around Osborne, and then come back in for runway 30. So let's straighten up the compass, so the HSI. Let's call it the HSI, shall we? So I've just pressed D there, which is a shortcut to make this agree with the whiskey compass. Interestingly, I'm not sure that there's actually a dial for it. So although it drifts, I'm not sure there's a dial to correct it. So pressing D may be the only method you have of correcting it. That's an interesting one. Anyway, let's get off the autopilot. So this is Osborne that we're just approaching. So we'll have a nosy out of the window as we go around. Just pulled the throttle back too much again. Let's go and scoot over to the co-pilot's side of the cockpit. Get to have a look at the airfield as we pass by as well. So we want to open the cowl flaps. We'll put the landing lights on. So you can see the grass strip is there. It actually starts over there, look, and it crosses the road, or crosses the other runway, sorry. So you can see it quite accurately there. It's quite worn on this side, look. Okay, how are we doing for speed? So get down. You can see the crest in the grass here, can't you, just before we get to the other runway. Gear up. Okay, off we go again. Just reading the live stream comments, someone's saying the castle was for keeping the Vikings out around 10:30. There's pretty good evidence, isn't there, that the Vikings did reach North America. Okay, we're just coming up to 3,000 feet, so autopilot on, if we can do that. And we want .500 feet a minute climb to get there. And nav mode on, heading mode on. That will put us on an intercept angle straight away, which is good. So that will switch back to nav mode any moment. Well, that's the plan. Is it going to do it? You should go to nav mode and then steer left. There it goes. Is it going to steer left? Oh, we're not quite on the line yet. So it's got to 3,000 feet there and it's stabilizing, which is good. Okay, so we say goodbye to this slightly odd pattern into the airfield. We say goodbye to Osborne and we now have 26 miles past Wakonda Lake over to Moritz Memorial. And Belvoir, is that? That's certainly the way the French would pronounce it. Whether the people of Kansas pronounce it that way is another question. So what do we say the lake's called? Wakonda Lake. It's just coming up on the left. Turn head tracking off so I can drink my coffee without looking like a nodding dog. So Peppermint's saying it has a warning in the 182 when I activate the approach. Only goes away when you switch the battery off on the ground. Interesting. I don't think any of these airfields have got ILS. No. Oh, hang on a second. I haven't got the weather switched on. Oh, the one at Manhattan Regional has. So another, maybe, how far is that away? So let's measure it. About 100 miles away. So you're looking at an hour maybe. Yeah, I think we may only get as far as Manhattan this evening, and we'll do the run into Kansas another night, because it's quite a long way, isn't it? Although we are halfway now. But it's already midnight here, so... In fact, what I may do is stop to keep this kind of a halfway point for another flight, to keep it interesting. We may stop at Moritz Memorial for tonight. Fly around this town. Oh, the Pet Connection, bit of advertising there for them. And Super 8. And the cemetery. There's a grass runway over here, like Corker City. Grooming by Nikki. This is going to be the new thing for the channel, isn't it? Random advertorial content. Be like commercial radio where I'll suddenly start talking about the tyre deal at the local garage or something. So when you select any runway for landing on the Garmin, well, You shouldn't... Oh, I see what you mean. You're programming like a GPS approach even. Well, let's try it then. So we're going to be flying into Merit's Memorial, K61. We took off from K75. So let's go and program the procedure in. So if we go in here and... Oh, we need to go to flight plan, don't we? Menu. If we delete the flight plan. And then come in here and we'll put in, where do we leave from? K75. Enter. And we're heading towards K61. Enter. And then we'll go into the procedure page and select an approach. Enter. And we're going to do runway 35, I guess. So RNAV 35, enter. Now, has this got all of the information? Show procedures for RNAV 35. What's the Adica one? So that's got flying out to Adica and then coming in. Fraps would be better, wouldn't it? Enter. So we've now got a route to follow. So if we go flight plan, we're turning right for, because we were on nav mode, remember. So we're turning right for Fraps. So you're basically saying that the approach mode is going to have a fit. See now, I would have thought approach mode will only work if you've got an ILS signal and you're running the CDI on VOR mode. See, I'm not getting any warnings. Oh, I didn't choose a runway, did I? Oh, no, I choose a runway for the approach, didn't I? So if we go back into flight plan, if I go back to procedures, I selected an approach. Arrival is a standard terminal arrival route, which is not what we're after. So if we zoom out here, we should see the rest of the route. Yeah, so we're going out to Fraps and then into the airfield. I'm not getting any warnings. Let's go and check the airfield altitude. Do we have any, as part of this approach, do we have any altitude restrictions? Oh, I haven't actually done it, have I? That would help. So we want to get rid of all of that lot. Get rid of all of that lot. And insert that into the flight plan. There we go. So we flew to there, so if we add that position, then it looks vaguely like what we're doing. Yeah, so we got above 4,000, so we need to climb. We're supposed to be higher than we are. So we're climbing up to 4,100 feet, so we're going to abide by the VNav instructions. It's a good point, actually. This will probably be a Navigraph, won't it? Where are we? Open charts. Approaches. RNAV 35. Let's pin it. So yeah, we're flying into Adica. And then turn in. So if we come back to flights then, and say, let's go and modify our flights. So we flew from K75. add to route. Oh, it really doesn't like it, does it? Because it's got all this rubbish in it. Let's get rid of that. Done. Select K75, add to route. Select K61, add to route. And then the approach was RNAV 35 using the fraps transition. So it's sort of drawn it. Of course it hasn't got the custom waypoint. Okay, so we have gone through 4,000 feet, bizarrely. Oh, I said 4,100, didn't I? Yeah, of course I did. So we stay at 4,000. Above 4,000, max 6,000. So if you were to go into the hold here, that's a good point actually. Should we try it? So at Attica, although it hasn't got the hold on here, can we program it in? So if we go into our flight plan, can we add a hold? Maybe not. I thought there is a way of putting holds in, isn't there? I'm just not familiar enough with it to remember how to do it. What is the difference between the North Europe and West Europe servers? Absolutely nothing. Just their geolocation around the world, so your ping times will be different. Did I activate the approach? Yes, I did. Let's have another look at the chart anyway. So, yeah, it's just guiding yourself in basically from 4,000 feet out. Remember airfield elevation, is it marked on here? It should be. Is it down the bottom somewhere? $1,400. Let's check that against, here we go, doing the turn in towards the destination. So let's pull the throttle back to, oops, just above 50%. So we don't get the klaxon. Do some speed. See, now we have got, oh, we need the course to be the same as the runway direction, don't we? So what is the runway direction again? 3.5, so 350 degrees, I guess. We'd need the actual airport chart though to see that accurately, but we can shortcut that by having a quick look on LittleNavMap. 355 degrees will give us the actual runway track. There we go. You can see it directly in front of us, look over there. And you can see this glide slope, even though there isn't one, that's the RNAV doing its job on the GPS. So if we go to approach mode, let's see what happens. So it's gone on to approach mode. So as soon as that comes through the center line, it should start descending on the glide slope for us. So let's get the wheels down. Let's get the cowl flaps open. Let's get the landing lights on. And it should. Let's keep an eye on this. So as soon as that glide slope marker comes through, that's the GPS one, by the way, because we're in GPS mode. Watch the vertical speed. Any moment it's going to tail off. He says we're going incredibly slowly, aren't we? Tootling along at 50% throttle. I'm just interested to see what happens. We've got approach mode on, and it's picked up glide slope on the autopilot. It's just said GS, and there we go. So it's doing an RNAV approach all on its own. That's rather clever. So we can sit outside and watch it. I can sip my coffee now. I don't even have to fly the approach. Obviously we get to a decision height. Is that marked on the chart actually? I think it's saying 1.5 miles out. Yeah, so what does LittleNavMap have in the sim database? So elevation 1400. Yeah, that corresponds then with what we thought. So 1900 is your decision height. But let's just let it carry on and see how well it does. So if I turn the head tracking back on, way. So this is the autopilot doing its work, coming in all on its own. I haven't put any flaps out yet. We're going just a bit too fast for flaps. Which is fine because we're just descending in, aren't we? So shall we zoom in on this so we get a good... So it's just coming into this marker, and then it'll be the final run in. About to run through the marker in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 5 nautical miles to run. This takes all the fun out of it, isn't it? This isn't flying. This is watching a computer. Or watching an avionics suite doing its work. We ought to be going a bit faster, really. I'm going to lift the wheels back up. It's not doing the engine any good running that slowly. We'll slow back down when we get closer. Let's go and close the distance on the GPS. We can look out the window, can't we? And be nosy. Look at all the farms as we go by. Somebody remind me to slow down. I think we need to slow down now, actually. So if you remember, it was about 1900 feet, wasn't it? It was the point at which we have to fly anyway. So autopilot. Oops, that's not the autopilot. That's the autopilot. Whoa. What went wrong there? It was fighting me. I didn't disengage, did it? I went to heading mode by accident. I didn't actually disable it. Okay. Okay, so the VASI lights are saying we're too low, and now we're okay again. So we've got 2 reds, 2 whites, which is good. It's a bit turbulent. It's a big airport actually, isn't it? It makes sense why they've got the approach routes. So we're just keeping an eye on the VASI lights and the general orientation of the airfield. Yeah, we're too low, look, but we're almost on the wrong way, so it'll be interesting to see when one lights up white now. Get ready. When does it happen? Now. And we're down. Flaps up. That was interesting. Yeah, so I'm not sure what's happening with the viewer that had the issues with the alarm going off, because that all worked better than I imagined it would. If that makes any sense at all. Okay, let's turn those landing lights back off. Taxi lights on. I think we're supposed to be taxiing along the runway actually. This isn't a taxiway on the grass, is it? Let's go and park up. Let's pull in here, shall we? Okay. So we need to go and turn some things off now. So taxi lights off, beacon lights off, nav lights off, pitot heat off, magnetos off, and then radio master switch off, alternator off, battery off, and we're cold and dark. Hurrah! Let some fresh air in, shall we? Very cool. We survived. Oh look, the aeroplane's ever so slightly levitating. Looks better from that angle, doesn't it? not levitating so badly. But we survived anyway. So here we are in, where did we land? Belloir. That's probably not how you pronounce it. I know quite often the mid-US towns that have French spellings that are not pronounced that way. We are at Moritz Memorial. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that. And I'll continue on the flight another night, but I expect tomorrow I will be head down learning the Avro Vulcan. So we'll see how we get on, I guess. It's going to be a bit of a learning curve, isn't it? I'll obviously be doing some videos with the Vulcan. Oh, hello, we got somebody coming in. Who's that? Someone that was on the stream, maybe? Joule262. Very cool. Right, I'm going to stop the stream there. Hopefully I'll see you all again soon. So yeah, with Peppermint, I really don't know what was causing... Peppermint, when you were on approach, did you pull the throttle back below 50% with the gear up? That causes it to beep. You heard it once or twice in the cockpit when I did it. Until I got to about 125 knots, I kept the throttle just above 50%. That may be the cause of your beeping. Didn't occur to me on the way in. So Marco is saying, hello Jonathan, have I got Prime Video? What, as in Amazon Prime? Yes, I have. So Marco Sosa is saying, I recommend you an Avro Vulcan documentary. I know all about the Vulcan. I grew up in the UK. It's kind of a piece of our folklore. So I'll be doing a load of videos though about how the actual bits and pieces work around the cockpit. I've been quite shocked actually that the videos that have come out have seemed a little bit rushed, but then I guess they were looking at the beta. Anyway, I'm going to switch off for the evening. See you all again soon.